Hey everyone, let's dive right into this explainer. We spend billions, literally billions of dollars searching the cold vacuum of space for extraterrestrial life. But we kind of forget that we have entirely alien worlds hiding right here on Earth. Just beneath the waves, there are biological marvels teeming with evolutionary superpowers that completely defy logic, physics, and sometimes our absolute worst nightmares. Today, we're unpacking the science behind some of the most extraordinary, brilliant, and downright terrifying organisms that we share this planet with. Here's our thrilling roadmap for today. We're looking at 4 wildly different marvels. Number 1, ocean masterminds. Number 2, bizarre biological artillery. Number 3, deep sea enigmas. And finally, number 4, nature's creepiest worms.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Ocean Masterminds, the genius of cephalopods.
We are talking about the ultimate shapeshifters of the sea, octopuses. These guys are older than the dinosaurs, and they're so profoundly alien and intelligent that scientists actually think their minds are hardwired for high-speed learning. Think about this. When it comes to building neurons, those critical brain connections for intelligence, octopuses actually have 3 times more capacity than humans do. They learn incredibly fast because, well, they have to. They're solitary from birth, entirely self-taught in a really harsh ocean. And their large central brain connects directly to a network of independent brain-like structures in each of their 8 arms. It makes them the undisputed kings of camouflage, exactly like Dr. Roger Hanlon points out here. But what's truly mind-bending about the day octopus? They are completely colorblind. Yet, they can transform their body texture and color in a fraction of a second. I mean, we're talking 1/5 of a second to perfectly match their surroundings. They pull this off because their brain connects right to the muscles in their skin, controlling about 20 million tiny sacs of different colored pigments. Plus, the skin itself is sensitive to light, hues, and shadows, so they don't need to see the color with their eyes, they literally see with their skin. Crazy, right?
And they don't just hide, they build. During some really extensive diver surveys off the UK coast in Plymouth Sound, researchers documented these masterminds actively manipulating their environment. Divers found these incredibly sophisticated dens constructed out of rocks and discarded king scallop shells that they use almost like doors. Right outside, they leave what divers call crab graveyards, basically piles of empty shells from brown and spider crabs, proving they are highly calculating ambush predators. The divers also saw females fiercely guarding their eggs deep inside these constructed fortresses. It's a really powerful show of dedication to the next generation. But, sadly, this incredible high-speed life comes with a tragic biological clock. Because they live at such a fast pace, absorbing and analyzing vast amounts of information entirely on their own, mature octopuses eventually hit a biological wall. Once they reproduce, they enter a rapid terminal phase called senescence. It's a biologically programmed physiological and behavioral deterioration. Basically, that brilliant mind that learned to use tools, build shelters, and perfectly mimic the ocean floor, it just begins to systematically shut down. To study this tragic decline in the wild without interfering, researchers used something called Baited Remote Underwater Video, or BRV camera surveys. These cameras track the whole life cycle. You can see the progression going from a healthy, pre-senescent octopus all the way to the final paramortem stage. The octopus's cellular density just rapidly drops off. That robust mantle shrinks, it gets flaccid, the skin degrades, forming these white lesions, they might even lose tentacles, and that once insatiable curiosity, that massive appetite, it vanishes entirely as they just completely stop feeding. It's a pretty sobering look at the fleeting nature of their genius.
Moving right along to Section 2, bizarre biological artillery, the physics of ocean weaponry.
Okay, we're pivoting from deep intellect to sheer, unadulterated physics. We're looking at predators that have literally evolved to turn their own anatomy into biological weapons of mass destruction. 4,800 degrees Celsius. Let that sink in. That is roughly the surface temperature of our sun, and it's being generated right here on Earth, underwater, by creatures like the tiny pistol shrimp and the fiercely patient ambush predator, the mantis shrimp. Sitting quietly in their tropical burrows waiting for a meal, they use these enlarged appendages to strike with such extreme speed and fluid dynamics, it honestly sounds like science fiction. So how do they do it? Well, according to physics papers out of Stanford, the whole mechanism relies on Bernoulli's principle. When these specialized claws strike at massive acceleration, the water moves so insanely fast that the pressure plummets. This creates a low-pressure vacuum bubble, a process called cavitation. When the surrounding water rushes back in to fill that vacuum, it actually exceeds the speed of sound in that empty space. This implosion generates a devastating shockwave, a totally immobilizing 218 decibel acoustic blast, and briefly superheats the water to that sun-like temperature. It even produces a quick flash of light known as sonoluminescence. For the mantis shrimp, the collapse of this cavitation bubble creates secondary shockwaves that completely stun or kill their prey, even if the initial physical strike misses. But to aim this bizarre artillery, the mantis shrimp relies on supervision. They have one of the most complex visual systems on the planet, capable of detecting multispectral light patterns that are entirely invisible to human eyes. Now, let's look at a completely different type of artillery, this time from a deep-sea predator, the goblin shark. Because it lives down in the pitch-black abyss where food is incredibly scarce, and honestly it's a pretty slow swimmer, it had to evolve a radical hunting technique. Researchers analyzing deep-sea footage discovered what they call slingshot feeding. This shark can literally unhinge and project its jaws forward at 3.1 meters per second. That is the fastest jaw speed ever recorded for a fish. It shoots its mouth out to a distance of almost 10% of its entire body length, snatches its prey right out of the dark, and then rapidly retracts the jaws back into its head. It is the ultimate deep water ambush mechanism. That brings us to Section 3, Deep-Sea Enigmas, Lasers, and Aliens. The midwater of the ocean is actually the largest habitat on Earth, but it remains one of the absolute most mysterious. The creatures living down there are soft, gelatinous, and look incredibly alien. Uncovering their secrets means we have to completely rethink how we do science. Historically, dragging nets to the surface just absolutely ruined and deformed these fragile, jelly-like animals because of the massive pressure changes. But recently, a team aboard the Schmidt Ocean Institute's research vessel completely bypassed physical collection. Instead, they used remotely operated vehicles equipped with MBARI's non-invasive deep PIV lasers to scan the creatures in 3D right there in the water. They even used Stanford's 3D squid microscope to image living cellular structures at sea. Thanks to this next-gen tech, they discovered 31 brand-new species off the coast of Brazil in just a matter of days, all without harming a single delicate animal. Among those amazing discoveries are the deep-sea siphonophorus. Now, what looks like one massive, glowing rope-like animal is actually an astoundingly complex colony. They're built from thousands of specialized clones called zooids that all link together and function as a single colonial organism. And they are voracious carnivores. They drift through the deep, dominating the midwater habitat by deploying these massive webs of tentacles packed with stinging cells called nematosts. Some species even use glowing lures to trick their prey. Get this, they are the very first marine invertebrate ever discovered that can emit red bioluminescence. They're just a perfect example of the formidable, totally wild solutions evolution has crafted for the deep ocean. And finally, Section 4, Nature's Creepiest Worms, Parasitic Nightmares. All right, we are leaving the eerie beauty of the deep sea behind and heading straight into the realm of pure biological horror. From damp forests to sandy ocean floors, and yeah, unfortunately, even the human body, worms straddle that fine line between sheer fascination and deep, visceral terror. In the ocean, you've got the bobbit worm. It hides under the sand, grows over 3 meters long, and snaps its jaws so fast, it can literally slice passing fish completely in half. On land, the velvet worm, which is a prehistoric predator older than the dinosaurs, by the way, shoots jets of sticky slime from its head to freeze its prey in place before eating them alive. Then, there's the psychological horror. The zombie snail parasite actually invades a snail's eye stalks, makes them pulsate with bright colors, and mind controls the snail to move out into the open. Why? So it gets eaten by a bird, which completes the parasite's life cycle. Nature is wild. And for us humans, well, the guinea worm grows for a full year inside the body before painfully burning its way out through the skin. And the African eyeworm takes it a step further. It actually crawls visibly across the surface of a live human eyeball. Just an absolutely chilling reminder of nature's dark, ruthless creativity. Which brings us to our final thought. From the solitary, staggering genius of a shape-shifting octopus to a shrimp that snaps a vacuum bubble with the heat of the sun, all the way to parasites that literally hijack the minds of their hosts, our planet is absolutely brimming with alien superpowers. It really makes you wonder, while we're busy looking up at the stars for signs of life, what other horrifying, beautiful, and reality-defying marvels are just waiting to be discovered, right now, right beneath the waves? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep your curiosity diving deep.